thanks everyone for watching my channel. This is Matt, and you're watching Surprise Comics. Yesterday I got tagged by Bigeez Comics to do the undervalued or underrated comics, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that tag and show you some comics that I think have a little bit undervalued, or not even necessarily undervalued, but ones I think have potential going forward. A lot of people have been doing these videos. The tag's been pretty successful, I think, so I'm not even sure who's been tagged and who hasn't, but if you haven't been tagged yet, I'm tagging you, and if you have and you haven't done it, I'm double tagging you. So we'll just leave it at that for as far as who I'm tagging. Also, I've watched a lot of these videos, and so I've tried to pick out comics that, these aren't necessarily my top 10, because if I did my top 10, it'd probably be most of the same comics everyone else has shown. So I'm going to show you 10 that I haven't seen on other people's videos yet, some that are a little bit more under the radar, that you probably can still pick up out of dollar boxes and stuff like that, that, you know, if the characters continue to grow in popularity, it may become valuable, it may never, but if you have a dollar box, you know, your risk is pretty small, so the reward doesn't have to be that big to make it worth it. So first one I'm showing you is Batman Shadow of the Bat, #1. This book came polybagged with a bunch of little cards and posters and things like that. So with or without the poly bag, you should need to use that as kind of determining what you value the comic at. But this is a significant issue because it's #1, also because it's the first appearance of Victor Zsasz. Victor Zsasz is in the Gotham series, and he is also really well done in the first two Batman Arkham games. That's kind of where I was first introduced to that character. It's the guy who murders people and tattoos himself or scars himself for everyone he's killed. So that's Batman Shadow of the Bat, #1. Next comic I'm going to show you is Green Arrow, #24. This is from the New 52. And the significance of this issue is this is the first appearance of John Diggle. If you watch the Arrow television show, you're very familiar with who John Diggle is. Because he is such a successful character on the TV show which he was created for, they went ahead and added him into continuity. So John Diggle is a recurring character in the Green Arrow series, and this is the first issue he showed up in. So he kind of got the Harley Quinn treatment, where he went from being just a TV character to a comic character. Next up we have Batman and Robin. This is from the first volume. This is #1. This is the first appearance of Damian Wayne as Robin, and in this series, Batman is actually Dick Grayson. You can even tell by the way they drew Batman there that he's a more not quite as big, more slender Batman than you typically see. So this is the Grant Morrison run. This is when we first see Damian Wayne. Book. You'll find this one varies in value quite a bit, but it's really not that big of a book as far as value. But as long as, if you know, Damian Wayne continues to be Robin, then you might see this book grow in value. Next up we have Batgirl, #9, and this was part of the Night of the Owls storyline, and she was brought up against this Talon here called Strix. And they actually did quite a good backstory on her, and she ended up joining the Birds of Prey, and she's been floating around in different places. I think she ended up on Secret Six for a little bit. I could be wrong there, I don't read that book, but she's been floating in and out of continuity, you know, kept alive. I think Gail Simone created her, so she's, you know, whenever she's writing a book, she's probably going to find a way to work her in. And you know, when you're looking at characters who are created, one of the key things to look at is to look who the writer of the book is. Because if it's one of the big wigs over at the comic book company, one of the, you know, Brian Michael Bendis or Jeff Johns or Scott Snyder, if they create a character, it's, you know, automatically it's definitely more worth following that character than it would be another character that just everyday type writer, one that wasn't as noteworthy, creates. You know, Jeff Johns is in charge of connecting the media with the movies and the television. with the comic books. So there's a good chance if Jeff Johns created a character, they're going to use his character when the TV show comes. So that's just something to always keep on for those who like to speculate or want to get books before they get too valuable. If it's created by, Jeff Johns or Brian Michael Bendis, those ones are definitely creators that have a lot of say. In addition, Jeff Loeb would be in that category. Scott Snyder's gotten to that point where he has a lot of pull with DC. So if those creators create new characters, don't wait to pick up those comics, because there's more likely or not those ones are going to go up. Next up we have Firestorm number 19. There's been about 3 different Killer Frosts throughout the history of Killer Frost. This is the first appearance of Caitlin Snow as Killer Frost, and if you watch the television show Flash, you'll be familiar with that name, Caitlin Snow, as she's one of the main characters on it. This is Caitlin Snow's first appearance, even more importantly than the first Killer Frost, the first version of this Killer Frost. It's when you actually meet Caitlin Snow and get to see her as, and of course she's battling Firestorm. So if you're familiar with the Flash show, this Firestorm versus Killer Frost has probably become a recurring thing within that show. So next up we got Shattered Heroes Battle Scars number 1. This is the first appearance of a character that is known as Cheese, and this is a 6-issue miniseries, and in issue 6 it's revealed that Cheese is actually Phil Coulson. So this is Phil Coulson from S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Marvel movies before they killed him off in Avengers fame. So this is his first appearance in comics. It's really, it's not that expensive of a book if you look hard enough, and it could go up, could stay the same. This next book's probably the most expensive out of the books, and even then it's still just like a $5 to $10 book. Green Lantern number 25. There is a variant that's much more valuable, but even then this is like when all the different color rings got brought in, and so when they brought in all the different colored rings, they brought in all those characters, the red lanterns, the yellow lanterns, the blue lanterns, and so the main characters from all those different colors of rings gets brought in as well. And so, I'm not a huge Green Lantern guy. I did watch the animated show, which actually was much better than I expected it to be, and so I got a little more into it through that. But I've only read a handful of different Green Lantern comics in my day. But that's just one to keep out for, especially the variant. It has a different cover than this one, obviously, but it's one to keep watch on. Next up, we got Batman, number 28, and this is like in the middle of the 0-year storyline. They took a month off, I think, to give Greg Capullo a chance to get caught up on his artwork. There's like a bunch of double-sized issues during that run, and this one took a look into the future of Batman Eternal, and this is the first appearance of Harper Row as Bluebird. Harper Row's been a character, again, it's another character created by Scott Snyder. Back in Batman number 1 was her first cameo appearance. Batman number 7, her first full appearance during the New 52. She had her own story in Batman 12, I think it was. Yeah, it was number 12. And this is, she starts following Batman and gets more involved in his crusade. And this is the first issue where she actually has her own superhero identity as a Bluebird. Up next we have Green Lantern number 20. And this is a special oversized issue. So the cover price is $8 to start with. I've got like 3 of these now. I think I picked up out of dollar bins. And this is the first appearance of Jessica Cruz, who, following the Forever Evil storyline, she became the new Power Ring. And for those of you not familiar with what Power Ring is a Green Lantern ring from a different world. And so this Green Lantern ring that is inherently evil travels in our Earth, and it comes, and rather than preying on courage or will like a normal Green Lantern ring gets its power from, this Green Lantern ring gets its power from fear. But it still has a lot of great power, so the wearer can control it by overcoming their fear. And it's actually a pretty cool concept. She's been in the Justice League books for like the last, I guess, 15 issues now, following Forever Evil. And the way they're developing her character and her storyline, it's been pretty interesting. You know, the Justice League books have been a good read pretty much the entire time during the New 52. So if you're looking for something different to read, or that would be one I would highly recommend if you're into DC superheroes. But this is Jessica Cruz's first appearance, who, you know, I don't know how popular she'll become, if Power Ring will become a thing or not, but, you know, it's already been around for a year and a half, so it's looking more and more likely. And the last book I'm going to show you today is Grayson #3. And this book has like pretty much zero heat on it right now, but it is a first appearance of Agent #1, who's also known as Tiger, and Agent #7, who has gone on to become a key character in the Grayson series in the more recent books. If Grayson continues on as a secret spy, spiral type storyline going forward, those characters, I imagine, will continue to play a bigger and bigger role. The book maintains its success. There's a good chance that those characters might get their own books or become more and more recurring. Agent #1, or Tiger as he's called, is like a Middle Eastern version of Dick Grayson. They're highly trained, highly skilled. Was the best agent in this, best spy and best agent, and Dick Grayson's kind of stolen his thunder, so they have kind of a rivalry going on with that. Agent #7, Dick Grayson develops a relationship with her in this issue, and, you know, it didn't turn out too well for him in the end. I'll just leave it at that, not to give any spoilers. This book is also kind of has a little bit of fame for it because it has one of the worst Dick Grayson puns. I'll go ahead and show it to you. It's probably not appropriate for kids. Even, you know, it's kind of disappointing. You know, I would have been allowed to read this. I talked to the writer Tim Seeley at a Comic-Con they had here in Phoenix a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this panel, and he said, like, they put it in and they wrote in everything, and they thought there was no chance it ever got published, and when it actually got through, then you know, he was just shocked, and he couldn't believe it actually happened. It's pretty low class, inappropriate. And so we have this page right here where this is Agent #7 teaching Dick Grayson how to properly use a gun, and she's teasing him and calling him Wing Knight and things like that, and he's like, that's not my name. My name is, and then on the next page we see Agent #7 in the thralls of passion saying Dick. That's real classy, real funny. Some of you guys might think it's funny. It's pretty, you know, that almost got me to stop reading it right there, just because it's just so, you know, unimaginative. But hey, some people like that stuff. When we go on, and we can see the future adventures, Gotham Edge. So that's it for my top 10 for this tag video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I showed you some different things that you may not have seen already. And, you know, any questions or leave them in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Have a good time.